Now we start the build of the actual bar. Behold, my workbench. Built this for free with scrap wood. You know, I kind of like free scrap wood workbenches because it doesn't matter if you beat them up, but it's nice and solid and it'll do for today. It'll get us what we need. So we're going to start with these big old pieces that I got, the 4x6s. And what's going to happen on this build is that I'm not going to go through every little step of how I'm putting this all together because my designs are going to be different than your designs, right? So what I'm going to do is try and highlight the more specific things and the stuff that's probably going to apply to your bar. Maybe, maybe not. But either way, keep watching to see how this comes together. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that fancy stuff, but also join the Discord so you can show us how your garage bar is coming together. But before we start on that, you might be asking, what kind of tools am I going to need to build this? Well, you're going to need a saw. You can buy a little handsaw if you're really strapped for cash. They're, I don't have mine here. Oh, I do have mine here. Like this. You can even get one that has like an angle guide, which is very useful. Takes a while, but I think these things are like 10 bucks. You can also get a circular saw, wired, wireless, it doesn't matter. You're going to need a drill. That's pretty much it. Yeah, sorry, I was going over the other tools. I'm going to be using some other tools, but those are the only ones you really need. So for this, I'm going to clean these up. Now, normally if you really want it to be really nice, you don't want any wood with paint on it. But like I said, we're doing mine for as little money as possible. And I'm just going to be painting the base anyways. I'll likely be staining the bar top, but I'll be painting the base. So it's okay if these got a little bit of paint on them. We're still going to sand them down in order to get rid of all the bumps and junk like that, but they're going to get their own paint that matches the bar colors, so it doesn't really matter. So let's get started. So when you're using wood that you find somewhere, sometimes the edges aren't going to be perfectly flat, and that can be a problem. This one's curved a little bit because of how it was cut. Due to it being a demo, they weren't trying to cut it very straight. So that means I got to straighten this out. One tool that I do recommend that you buy, you should have, if you don't have it, you should get one, Speed Square. You probably run, I think, a couple bucks. All right, this is going to help you put straight edges onto things. It's going to help you when you are, well, with all kinds of stuff. Now, of course, this isn't going to be perfect, but that's okay. It's better than it was. It will be better than it was. And we're not going for perfect. We're going for giving ourselves our bar as best as we can with what we got. I will be using my ancient, badly beaten up skill saw that still works. You don't need brand new tools. You don't have a lot of tools, buy them used. Same place you find the wood. Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, OfferUp, yada, yada. As long as they work. Doesn't have to be perfect to be good. When you're making a cut like this, you're going to want to clamp it down. Otherwise, it'll slide. When it slides, it'll cause problems. Eye protection, non-negotiable. Doesn't matter. Get a pair. It'll probably run you a whole $1. So protect your eyes. You only got 2 of them, but you can't buy new ones. Now I'm gonna have to make a very specific cut on this where I take a big chunk out. But I don't want to do that until I have it perfectly straight and level. So I'm going to make these and cut everything to the same length. Then I'll make those special cuts. I'll show you what I mean later. And that's going to be where one of the 2x4s are going to sit in order to ensure stability. Now, you could replace these 4x6s with 4x4s pretty easily. And especially if you're buying brand new, you can just get 4x4s and then connect the 2x4s directly to them. Good to go. A lot of plans have you using those. But since I thought I already had these and they're very heavy, very stable, might as well take advantage of what I got. All right, now that that's been flattened out quite a bit, we can check on the other ones. Lucky in the sense that these other ones here kind of have a flat base. It's ugly, but it's flat. So we can work off of there. A normal average bar height is going to be about 44 inches roughly. I'm very tall. My friends are very tall. The people who are going to be coming to the bar usually are very tall. So I'm going to cut all these at 42. Make a mark. I like to do a couple of them. And then use the speed square. Sorry for the noise on the mic. Got a fan on considering it's like 103 today. Don't cut without clamping. Nope. And I want to be clear. I'm not claiming to be a master woodworker or anything of the sort. So if you have criticisms of my techniques or methods, please do comment them. I need the engagement. It'll help. I'm getting this done good enough and following all the safety procedures that I need to keep all my fingers, ears, and eyes. And other appendages too. If you are a master woodworker who's going to be building your own bar, and you do want to show off your excellent skills, join the Discord and show us what you got. Now that's a beauty. They're all a perfect 42 inches. I know I said 44 inches for a bar earlier. You might be asking, why are you cutting it to 42? Well, because the top of the bar is going to be 2 inches. That's why. Oh, inch and a half considering the lumber practices that we have these days. I guess the milling of the lumber cuts it down from the actual dimensions to milled dimensions, which confuse the hell out of young me. Why is a 2x4 1.5 by 3 or whatever it is? Either mill it a little bit bigger, but I don't think they can because I think that each log of a certain size has a certain number of cuts that can come out of it. Or they're just lying to us. If you know why, let us know in the comments. Why specifically do they do that? Why not just list it as the milled size, 1.5 by 3. That to save time while talking, I can get behind that. Somebody out there's got to know. One of you's got to know. Oh well. We'll figure it out someday. Maybe we'll figure it out on the Discord. So, these clamps, if you don't have them, get them at Harbor Freight. You get some Home Depot, Lowe's, wherever. But a good place, especially for those of you who don't really have tools yet and you're kind of getting started, is Harbor Freight. I know their tools aren't the highest quality, but we're not going for highest quality here. We're going for what gets us our happiness. And if that means you got to buy Harbor Freight tools, that means you buy Harbor Freight tools. These clamps are Harbor Freight. They haven't hurt me yet. Nice and neat. Last one. Not very pretty, but I'll fix that in post. Get it? It's a post. Tough crowd. Later we'll get into some more intricate stuff, mostly the mitering or the putting an angled corner on the bar top. But the bar top is really going to be the most skill intensive and time intensive piece of this whole build, because that's the one you're really going to be looking at when you're sitting there, right? It is pretty close to this here. I'm trying to decide if I want to bother to take it off, or would that just be a waste of time? Safety's not really a waste of time though, right? Now, I might be preaching frugality when it comes to fun little side projects. Don't save nails. I mean, unless they're like crazy straight. Just throw those stupid things away. I think they're like less than a cent each these days or something. I don't know. Not worth your time. That is one thing. Oh, we get to take it off the fun way. Yep, that's the fun way. How exciting is this though? Been thinking about and planning this garage bar for so long. It's cool to actually have it come together now, or start to at least. It's not going to be that long. The frame's very simple. After these special cuts are put into these 4x6s, which I didn't even need to do if I would have just gotten 4x4s, the rest are literally just cutting 2x4s to length and screwing them in. Suddenly we have a bar ready for the bar top for the most part. We got to talk about the face of the bar. I'm going to make a video on the different kinds of things you can do and how you can do that. Some options look cooler than others. Some options are free, some are not. Let's go out far enough. My lucky day. All right, I'm gonna go get a 2x4 so we can figure out the exact measurements. So I had to go out and buy a 2x4. I had this really long one that I planned on using, but I had forgotten that it has a nice big cutout in the middle. That's okay, it's still very usable for all types of smaller things, but I did have to go buy one more to make up the base of the frame for the bar, which brings the total cost of this project up to $3.26 so far. No, what about the cost of the tools? I know some people are gonna ask. That doesn't count for a project. If you wanna split the cost of the tools up between projects, sure, we'll add 50 cents. Now, as far as raw materials go, $3.26. Now I'm gonna put all the pieces together into basically one big rectangle. And then I'm gonna stand that rectangle up. Well, it's gonna be on the ground. Then I'm gonna add the L piece. Then we're gonna stand it up, which should give it a lot of stability. And then from there, we're gonna be able to put the bar top on top, but that'll be another video. But let's get that framed up real quick just to finish this one out, and we'll go from there. Costume change. And I got the framing done. All right, finally got all the pieces put together. Got these side pieces on, which are gonna help the face pieces that we'll be putting on in our next video. But otherwise, it generally seems pretty solid, pretty strong. If you have ever wanted to build a garage bar, subscribe, like, join the Discord. Let me know what you're making or what you wanna make. Send me a sketch, draw something up. It's easy, free. Anyways, see you guys next time.